we are jumping on the technology, using cloud solutions to collaborate, use now the cloud what we have to work on one document, for example, on a business plan. We have the video conferences. And I think this is really a great example by the acceleration, what we can see right now. It is the new normal.
Hello, everyone. We have the pleasure of welcoming Dr. Marcell Vollmer to our interview series today. I'm Imtiaz from the Engati team. Let's begin with a quick introduction of Engati. Engati is the world's leading multilingual no-code chatbot platform. It is available across 14 different channels with about 25,000 bots created. And we sell in over 186 countries in every domain and use case. Engati has also been recognized as a top platform by Inc.com, TechWorld, CIO, and many others. We run the Engati blog, the video channel. We also have an Engati Engage podcast, receiving upwards of 300,000 visitors annually. And now for a guest, Marcell is the Chief Innovation Officer of Celonis, where he focuses on supporting customers and partners to define and execute digital transformation strategies globally. In his previous role as Chief Digital Officer, he was a digital ambassador by SAP's Digital Transformation Office to help all of SAP's customers define and drive digital transformation strategies across the world. He has implemented a global category management organization, procurement shared services, and a hybrid model with Ariba for goods, Fieldglass for professional services, and Concur for travel. Welcome, Dr. Marcell.
Imtiaz, many thanks for having me. It's a great pleasure. And welcome to everyone listening to our webinar. Thanks.
All right. So before we get started, just one quick note, guys. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and always stay updated. Okay, so here's the first question for you, Dr. Marcell. Can you give us a walkthrough about the enterprise performance acceleration software?
Absolutely, Imtiaz. So basically, we all know how important it is to stay up to date with the current software solutions, getting insights across all the different IT systems and processes. And that's exactly what we do with our software. So the short version of this is process mining, basically process analytics, what we do at Celonis, where we connect all the different systems and provide a visualization of an end-to-end process flow in procurement, my home turf, so the P2P, procure-to-pay process. It starts with the purchase requisition, it goes down to the sourcing event, and then you get the goods received, an invoice, and the invoice needs to get paid. All that is what we can visualize across all different systems. SAP, predominantly in the ERP enterprise resource planning space, but also when other systems are connected, we show you how your process flow really is. And this is the real important thing. You only can accelerate and go to the next level if you understand that your processes are flowing very seamlessly through the different systems. Therefore, machine learning and artificial intelligence-based recommendations are built in to enhance your processes to show you where can you really improve. Example is if you are paying suppliers late, you will see where got the process stuck. When you have catalog changes and something is not going through because the price change was indicated by a supplier, you will see that. And of course, what's very important is to monitor it. To keep it very simple, process mining is basically the right software, an operational layer as cloud solution to give you all insights, enhance your processes, and monitor them consistently.
Thank you. I think that sounds very exciting and something I think that every enterprise organization needs at this point of time, especially with COVID and the uncertainty around it, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So I think a related question to that, in these times of uncertainty, everyone is looking for resiliency and so on. How can organizations focus on innovation at this point?
So You brought up COVID-19, the coronavirus. Basically, we all have seen how this is significantly changing basically the entire world. It's the first pandemic, what we see. And what is important is that you get the full visibility and transparency about all the different steps across your supply chain. I think that's a starting point. You need to fix the basics and have an overview. When you do that, supply chain basically consists in a very simplified way. And I describe it basically with 4 words. Number 1 is plan. Number 2 is source. Number 3 is make. And number 4 is deliver. So basically, that's a very simplified definition of a supply chain. When you now look in the different components, and let me build on the sourcing side, it is absolutely important when you think about how can I really help my manufacturing processes or whatever I deliver as a company, as a service to my customers or goods, what you sell, the products you create. Basically, you need to think about innovative ways on how to make it better, how to make it easier for your production. What can you make? What should you buy? And that's something also where I see procurement will play a vital role in driving supply innovations. But it's not only limited to procurement, of course. All the different parts, the planning side will build in the customer expectations, the customer experience. What is it what customer wants? You can have the most beautiful products. If you're not selling them, we all know it might not help you because you're not making the revenue. And this is something also where you need to think about the customer experience. What are the right innovations and how can you really help your business to continue to develop the products of the future that you will beat your competitors and will stay ahead of everything what's happening. And core element in times of uncertainty is the resilience of your supply chain. And that means you need to have, first of all, full insights in all the different suppliers. And in a case, what we have seen in the Hubei area in Wuhan, so Wuhan is the city, Hubei is the area, basically the entire area in China was impacted by the COVID-19, the coronavirus. You need to find alternative suppliers more or less from one day to another. So this means you need to have data insights and you need to think about also innovative solutions. How can you mitigate? Is it something probably you can get from other suppliers? You need a system. You need to understand which categories can you get somewhere else in the world. You need also to understand, are they available? Because it doesn't matter if you find alternative suppliers, but they have also currently problems to deliver. We have seen this with the mask, what we are asked to wear all over in the world. There was a huge shortage. So another innovative way is then to think about, can I come up with alternatives? And we have seen that thousands of companies starting now producing the mask in a different way. Some using machines, some are reusing certain production capabilities they have to overcome the shortage. And these are great examples also for tiny innovations, what you can do based on the data, what you have. And this is exactly what we all need to deliver and help really that the world keeps rolling and that you can overcome any shortage, but also think about new innovations, what's coming up to make it a great product for the future.
Great. I guess, so with innovation, I think two other keywords that also come up always is AI and automation. So what do you think, AI and automation, what is the role that it will play in your field? And has it changed or do you see any change in behavior in the way of working currently?
I think all the companies are looking into their digital transformation, and one core element is always the automation. Everyone wants to automate operational, tactical tasks, administrative tasks, because they are more value-adding activities what people can do. And we also see more or less on a daily basis that the machine learning, artificial intelligence capabilities are getting better and better. So that's something what we can see, starting with certain algorithms and then experience the learning capabilities these algorithms have to enhance your machine learning. what we learned at Celonis on process mining is that by using all the data and getting really a wonderful overview about an end-to-end process, basically this helps us also to identify certain patterns that we can come up with better recommendations for our customers to help them to automate and really benefit from the capabilities of machine learning and artificial intelligence. And that's really what we learned. But there are other ways in automating. So we all know you can use for certain activities chatbots, for example. We have certain IT systems integration. It started even early with EDI. The interfaces we have built, connecting systems, very expensive. We see business networks also as a capability by connecting the companies and exchanging information in an end-to-end electronic way. Unfortunately, I'm a German, as you can hear from my strong accent. I lived 2.5 years in Atlanta, Georgia. Sorry, it didn't help to overcome and get rid of my accent. But basically, what I really learned is that you can think about on how to improve your systems and really see that you invest in intelligent capabilities to go to the next level of automation and focus really what is value adding. And it's circling back to your previous question about driving innovations is definitely a way to increase the value proposition of your organization, your procurement department, your supply chain department. And in the times of crisis, it is more important that you think about creative ways in how you really make business. And that's something what we all focus on.
Yeah, true. I think, and I've spoken to several others who also say that automation with a purpose, right? So we need to identify what is the value driving process that can be automated and benefit the customer. And I think
correct.
Very true. Okay. A similar related question, how has supply chain management changed with digital transformation and process mining? What are your thoughts on that?
So I think what we definitely have seen, what, for example, process mining, using process analytics, also data, helps with and has changed is getting end-to-end visibility and transparency. Only if you know every single step, you can meet the expectations of your customers. Let me add another very important topic to that, what the transparency is about and how it really helps. We all know that sustainability is something we definitely want to include in our end-to-end supply chain. We also want to avoid that we don't have child labor in our products, in our sourcing, what we do, and the products we sell to our customers. The reason for that is fairly simple. We only have one world, and all the customers are now also looking. Who are really the brands, the companies I want to work with? What are the products I really want to get? And also, can I trust these companies that they are selling sustainable products? And therefore, you need to have end-to-end transparency. And you only can have this if you really have the capabilities and use all the data along your supply chain, from the planning, all the steps in the sourcing, what you do to select the right suppliers, focusing on sustainability, corporate social responsibility, to continue then with your production process. You control that if you manufacture by yourself, or you need to monitor the suppliers you are working with to do the manufacturing for you, the providers you are collaborating with, and finally also logistics. And therefore, it is all connected. It gets better and better connected with sensors, connected devices, IoT, what we see. And with that, you have really the full transparency, and you are also enabled by that you can react in a case of an interruption, that you have all the data to immediately define a risk mitigation strategy for whatever is happening. In a global pandemic, it is definitely a little bit more challenging, what we all see. It's very challenging, to be fair, what I have seen for a lot of companies. And I was a chief procurement officer by myself at SAP. I started back in 2011 in that role. And what happened, we all remember Fukushima, basically a huge disruption, but it was very locally condensed in one area in Japan. But then later this year, 2011, we have seen the flood in Thailand. We got educated. I got educated by myself that the world's majority of hard disk production is performed out of Thailand. And we had now with, I think, was 75% of the hard disks are getting produced in Thailand, that we need to think about what are alternatives. And therefore, you need data, you need transparency. And this is fundamentally changing also how you monitor and bring your supply chain to the next level by using artificial intelligence capabilities, of course.
Yeah, I guess the next question is also related, but a slightly different topic, which we have spoken about. Now people are talking about post-COVID and pre-COVID era, right? And I've seen a lot of memes in social media around that. So what do you think, how has this pandemic impacted or has it accelerated digital transformation? And what are the trends that you see will be here to stay for the next few years?
And yes, that's really a great question. And sometimes when I speak at a conference or now in a virtual way, like we are doing this interview right now, I very often bring up the question about what was really the main driver, the key driver for your digital transformation. Was it the CEO? Was it the chief digital officer, the chief innovation officer, or was it COVID-19? And very often, not a big surprise, we see that the response is it is COVID-19, which was really an acceleration and a driver. We are now on a video chat right now, a video conference. Basically, this is now the new normal. People jumping, even if they are not known to each other, if they have a call about discussing a topic, it's not an entirely new technology. But we have seen as people are now working more and more from home, work from home basically is a social distancing which came together with coronavirus and is a must-have in a lot of companies, that we are jumping on the technology, using cloud solutions to collaborate. Use now the cloud, what we have to work on one document, for example, on a business plan. We have the video conferences. And I think this is really a great example by the acceleration, what we can see right now. It is a new normal. Everyone would say, I jump on a video conference, let's connect. And is doing that like it was with a phone call in the past. And this is showing, it is only one tiny example, because the magnitude of the change is much bigger when you look also in how companies are working now with the solution, with the back-end systems, how fast they really made it happen that with VPN connections, you can access the company servers in a secure way, that you can exchange information, that you can replace meetings and do them in a virtual way, that you can basically also visit one of your customers or one of your suppliers by using FaceTime, video conferencing capabilities, by thinking about new ways in collaborating. And that's really something where we see it is definitely an acceleration. And I would even say that probably the time we have known it before with all the travel, a lot of travel for short meetings, what we have seen, this might be history, and we will get more and more used to working in this virtual setup, in this virtual way. And I'm a big fan of that. I was driving a lot of digital transformations like you introduced me. Thanks for that. And I think that companies are definitely ready, and we need now to see that redefine the future for the post-COVID-19 area, which will hopefully also bring us back on the economic side where we were before, and hopefully also the impact, the dip will be more a V-shape, going up, going down, and now going up fast, so that all the people are basically benefiting from the next cycle, and hopefully it will be a long one and no second wave on the coronavirus side.
Yeah, I hope so. So which industries do you think will benefit the most from the digital transformation during the pandemic? And what would your encouraging words be towards other industries, and how can they get into that mode of digital transformation?
I think we have seen that a lot of companies working now in the IT sector, the high tech companies, are definitely benefiting. We have seen a rocket star race of Zoom, for example, one of the video conferencing providers, but also Microsoft Teams and other Skype solutions Microsoft is providing are really benefiting from that. I think also that we see that cloud providers are heavily investing and need to expand their capabilities. We see a lot of more bandwidth requirements. It even led to a situation that Netflix had to reduce the bandwidth because the streaming went up after the COVID-19 crisis came up. And that's something also where we see a lot of companies working in that space. Key players for the digital transformation are definitely benefiting from that. When you look a little bit in a broader sense, as all the retail, the shops on the streets got impacted, got closed in a lot of countries. We also see that the big players like Amazon, for example, heavily benefiting from that. So the retail industry, the e-commerce players are benefiting from that. I would not say that all the retail companies, because we see they are heavily impacted by that. And I think there are a lot of other areas and industries where you see positive benefits. So everyone who is basically focusing on the next new normal, the post-COVID-19 area, what you asked in your question before, is basically now benefiting from that. And we will see also what's happening with the other industries. We still see players like Tesla overtaking large OEMs in the automotive sector, for example. So electric cars, self-driving capabilities, autonomous vehicles. I think a lot is also impacting supply chains by that, the technologies. And I would guess that the tech providers in general will benefit most from the current situation, what we have.
Right. Yeah. And towards the end, are there any final parting thoughts that you would like to share with the audience?
I think it is time now to drive the digital transformation, and I'm absolutely a strong believer that this is needed. And what I experienced by talking to a lot of C-level executives doing a lot of these transformations on the customer side, being now at Celonis, driving process mining and providing solutions, providing you the transparency, what you need. It is now the right time. Probably start with the vision and then focus on a customer-centric process as a first element when you have a vision for your overall company, and then go to the next level and align your organization according to the needs of the customer, in sync with the process you have defined, the customer-centric, stakeholder process centric set up what you have done, and then select carefully the right IT systems helping you to continue to drive, thinking about that the virtual collaboration and network collaboration will definitely be more intense and will be the future. And with all of that, let's not forget your people, because they are the real asset of your organization, what you have. And you can have some most beautiful technology. If you don't drive the adoption, and the adoption is what the people are doing, you might be not successful. And with that, I think it is time to act now. It is difficult to make predictions, especially about the future. It was not me saying that, it was Winston Churchill, Mark Twain, Niels Bohr. This is where the quote is assumed to come from. But what we all can do is we can define our future now. And I think that's exactly what we should do. And the time is right. So let's get it done. And I hope you will be successful in the future, like we all hopefully be. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Marcell. I think, as you were speaking, a quick theme came to my mind, and I just want to bounce it off. So, what do you think about collaborate with digital transformation as the future? What are your thoughts around that?
Oh, I think we will definitely have a collaboration across teams, and we will do this in a virtual way. So working with a company in India to develop something, to think about how can you produce it, for example, by leveraging the capabilities a great country like India has, might be one example. You don't need necessarily to travel what you have done in the past. And this is, for me, definitely a benefit that we will see much more collaboration. I'm a big fan also and a strong believer of the globalization. I think it will change. We will see also more focus on risk mitigation, especially when it comes to supply chains and logistics, the production, what you do, because you need to keep up with your manufacturing and secure that you can provide everything for your customers. But the way how we really make our supply chains and make our business in general more resilient will definitely be based on the virtual collaboration. That's what I believe, and also what I'm working for. And at Celonis, we help on the process side and also enable the enhancements and the monitoring of the processes. But in general, I think all companies might change and might, to a more extensive way, benefit from a virtual collaboration in the near future, or doing it right now.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Marcell, for giving us your time.
Welcome.
I think your insights were very valuable, and I know our audience is really going to enjoy this interview. For all the audience, we'll be back with a new episode with a brand new expert soon. So stay tuned, and we'll see you around for the next one.
Thank you very much. It was a great pleasure.